We could soon see history made on the U.S. Supreme Court, y'all. Today, liberal Justice Stephen Breyer confirmed something that we've been talking about for weeks ago here on Amplified, his plan to retire at the end of the current term. Now, that's great news for Democrats because it means that President Biden will get to name a replacement while Democrats still control the Senate. Here's where the potential to make history comes into play. Biden has pledged that he will name the first black woman to serve on the country's highest court. And there are plenty of well-qualified candidates who might be called upon when the SCOTUS term ends this summer. Replacing Breyer won't change the court's 6-3 conservative majority, but his retirement has the potential to influence decisions for generations to come. Here to expand on this is my friend Elie Mystal, justice correspondent at The Nation. Elie, welcome back to Amplified. So the Senate Democrats want to start the confirmation process as quickly as possible. How important is it to get a selection made and confirmed before the upcoming midterms?
It's everything. That's why Breyer's retirement was so important. That's why so many people pressured him to do that, because Mitch McConnell has set the rules. These are not the rules that I want to play by. This is not the rules that the country has played by for 250 years. These are the rules that Mitch McConnell set down. And what those rules are is that if he takes back the Senate, if Republicans take back the Senate, he has already vowed that he will not confirm, or he's unlikely to confirm, a replacement for Stephen Breyer. We know he's not bluffing, because he did not confirm a replacement for Antonin Scalia when Barack Obama was president. So we know McConnell doesn't play. So his rules are that you have to do it while you have the votes in the Senate. And right now, the Democrats have the votes in the Senate. They might not have the votes. You want to talk about the midterms? They might not have the votes 6 months from now, depending on, we are one senator getting hit by a bus from losing the bare majority that we have. So we got to move now.
Wow.
I think that Breyer needed to retire last summer. I'm happy he's finally going to do it by this summer. But this has to go quickly because Mitch McConnell is waiting in the wings to go back to an unprecedented level of obstruction.
In your latest article for The Nation, you present a list of black women who could find their way to the Supreme Court. Of the names we've heard, U.S. District Judge J. Michelle Childs in South Carolina is considered a favorite of Congressman James Clyburn. His endorsement right before the South Carolina presidential primary, of course, in 2020, actually turned out to be crucial for Joe Biden. So does this put her toward the front of the line? And talk to us about the rest of the list.
Yeah, well, first of all, Aisha, to be clear, I'm rooting for everybody black. Just anybody that the people he picks, I'm going to support her. I'm going to defend her from what will certainly be unfair attacks from the right wing. I am not picking favorites. I am not playing, anybody in this field that we're looking at would be an excellent judge and an excellent justice on the Supreme Court. Now, amongst the candidates, sure, J. Michelle Childs has a real strong resume, not just because of her endorsement by, Biden whisperer, Congressman Clyburn, but because her background includes being a labor law expert, which is, I think, critically important right now as we see the conservative Supreme Court take shot after shot of this core Democratic constituency. Yes, black women are a core Democratic constituency, but so is labor. And having a labor law expert and fighter and defender is a good thing to have on the court. The other thing about Childs is that she comes from, she got a BA from University of South Florida. She got her JD from the University of South Carolina. Right now on the Supreme Court, until Amy Coney Barrett was put on, there were only 2 law schools represented, Harvard and Yale. Amy Coney Barrett went to Notre Dame. Also, no slouch of a school. Childs, if she was on the court, she would be the only justice on the court who came from a state university. Scranton Joe, he likes to talk about riding the trains, right? Like that kind of experience. Not only do we need more educational diversity on the court, but that's something that could appeal to the Biden crowd as well.
So who do you actually expect to get the nomination? What's your top 2?
Yeah, I mean, I think Childs is a great resume and would be a super interesting pick. I still think it's going to be Katanji Brown Jackson. She's the leader in the clubhouse. She's a current judge on the D.C. Circuit. She replaced Merrick Garland on the D.C. Circuit when Merrick went to be the Attorney General. And the thing about Brown Jackson that you have to understand is that, A, she was recently confirmed by this Senate, where she got 53 votes. That's all the Democrats. So Manchin and Sinema's handlers let them vote for her, as well as 3 Republicans, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and Lindsey Graham. So just having a person who has even the potential to get a Republican vote, much less more than that, and keep the Democrats in line, that's going to be a huge thing for Biden. The other thing about Brown Jackson is that she's already been very well vetted. She was a finalist for the appointment that Obama made that eventually went to Merrick Garland. She was kind of one of the finalists, one of the last people in the room on that vet, so she's already been vetted by one White House. Biden arguably already has a sense of her, probably has already met her and talked to her through the Garland appointment process. So she comes kind of well vetted, well respected, Harvard College, Harvard Law School, head of the U.S. Sentencing Commission, 8 years on the bench, which is more than Amy Coney Barrett. So, I mean, there's a lot going in Brown Jackson's favor, and I still kind of expect her to get it. And she's only 51. So, you know, with Republicans always, you know, Republicans are basically at the point where they'll put an embryo on the court. They're putting people so young. So, like, having a person who's only 51, that's another kind of feather in her cap in her favor. So I still think it's going to be her. But, you know, at some level, it also just comes down to who a president likes. Stephen Breyer. Sorry, by the way, Brown Jackson used to clerk for Stephen Breyer. But remember, Stephen Breyer got his job, didn't get the job in the first run with Clinton because he got hit by a bike. He got hit on his bike before his interview with Clinton, and Clinton kind of just didn't like him. It took a second interview and a second opening for Breyer to get the nod, right? So these things can come down to such interpersonal things as that.
I appreciate you highlighting the fact that, you know, the women that are being talked about have more qualifications than Amy Coney Barrett. Not surprisingly, black women are always excellent and more qualified than and better than and have less than or zero skeletons in the closet than some of the folks that the other side tends to anoint. You ended today's piece that you wrote saying, quote, Biden has a deep bench of options and will make a fantastic choice. Defend her. And you just alluded to that earlier. Who or what are we defending this black woman from?
The right wing. We know what white males will do to this pick. It's already started on the right with various professors. Right now, it's in the law professor community, various people denigrating the accomplishments, not of any particular woman, just all of them. One law professor today really took to Twitter and said that any person that Biden nominates will be a lesser black woman because he's focusing on this particularly underrepresented group. Tucker Carlson has already started doing his thing. We saw all of these attacks before with Sonia Sotomayor. I mean, let's not forget, many of the people who will be attacking Biden's pick here are already on record of attacking Sonia Sotomayor. So we know what the playbook is. They're going to call the woman not as intelligent as others. They're going to denigrate her accomplishments. They're going to make snide suggestions, suggesting that she isn't as smart as some of the other justices, which will be ridiculous to me because Brett Kavanaugh is a buffoon. I mean, they've literally put a Yabo on the court, and they're going to talk to me about who's really has the intellectual candle power there. But we know what the attacks are going to be, and we know too often, this is why I wrote the piece that way, we know too often that liberals will themselves start to play the game when it comes to any black women, any woman really, will start to play the game of, I really want a woman, but not that woman, right? They'll start to play that game of like, oh, if he had nominated Oprah, I totally would have been there, but instead, whoever he actually nominates, she just seems too radical to me, or too this to me, or too that to me, and we cannot let that happen. We need to close ranks around this woman, close arms around this woman, and defend her from what will be scurrilous, baseless attacks from the right. And that's what I'm prepared to do. And I hope, to convince as many people as I can to do it with me.
I got to ask you, because I got to ask, are Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema going to get on board? What do you think?
I think so. I mean, look, you can print this clip and call me back and just call me naive if it doesn't work out this way. But look, Manchin and Sinema have actually been pretty good at supporting Biden's other nominees. Biden, many people don't know this. He has confirmed more judges to the lower courts than in his first year than any president in history, save like George Washington. Like he's been on it. He's already confirmed more black women to the court. He's confirmed 8 in his first year. Obama confirmed 1 over 8 years. Trump confirmed 0 over 4 years. And Manchin and Sinema have been voting in the Senate for them. Like we need their votes, and they've been voting for them, right? So I'm not as
let's hope that they actually act like a part of the party.
Yeah, I think that I'm not worried about them so much. And then, like I said, I think we're going to get Murkowski. I think we're going to get Collins. I think the person who's going to really show his drawers is Tim Scott. Tim Scott's going to be Tim Scott is going to be the one. Does not vote for the first black woman Supreme Court nominee. That's going to be the embarrassment. But I think we're going to get
Shocker. Elie, I do want to mention that you have a book coming out in a few weeks called Allow Me to Retort, a black guy's guide to the Constitution. I want to have you back to talk in depth about your book because we don't have time tonight. But give us a real quick, when can we actually pick it up?
It's available March 1st, and it's basically like if you ever thought the Republicans were wrong with the law and you needed somebody to explain to you exactly how they were wrong with the law, buy the book. I put all the arguments there. You can use them at cocktail parties or Thanksgiving with your Republican friends and win.
All right. Elie Mystal, Justice correspondent at The Nation. Thank you so much for joining me here on Amplified.